Gerry Kelly, MLA, what's your reaction to today's events?
Well, I mean, there's two events today, both of them connected, but we were involved in the all-party talks, or what's called the party leader talks. We started them yesterday. We dealt with the agenda, what we were going to hand it, what we would sequence it, etc., etc. And we were into the bulk or the detail of the talks today. And when word came in about the determination, and the Unionists basically walked out and phoned back a few minutes later and said that they were withdrawn from the talks indefinitely. I think it was the wrong thing to do. I think this is a time for leadership. I think Martin McGuinness showed that leadership, and Sinn Féin did with a number of spokespersons when we were saying before the determination was out, and indeed before the talk started, that whatever the determination might be, that we needed to accept that determination, whether we liked it or didn't like it, that it was the Parades Commission which should make those decisions. And of course this was a local issue. The Unionists had attempted publicly to raise it as an issue within the talks, but it wasn't within the remit. And obviously, you know, these talks were at a higher level. Even if we had have come to the conclusion, it wouldn't have had any impact per se on any of the parades or anything else for at least a year because of legislation and all of that. So we're disappointed. We will have to come back to these issues, as we have had to come back to them on a number of occasions. I think the unionists are not showing leadership, and what they need to do is show leadership. And if they think leadership is that they gather together because they put out a statement from the pan-unionist front, if I could call it that. So this wasn't that they met after they left us. It happened within minutes of them walking out in the talks. And the statement represented the UUP, the DUP, the TUV, but also the UPRG and the PUP. And this was a pre-arranged discussion, which clearly they hadn't time to have that discussion. So either they were expecting this result or they had planned it before they even went into the talks. And I think that speaks volumes. I read at the end of the statement they talk about a graduated, I forget exactly the terms, but it looks like a graduated approach to protest. We're already getting word in now in Facebook and other media, social media, that there's a protest planned in different places. This is absolutely the wrong way to go about this. Even last night, in the build-up to this, we have said that we believed, and we actually have evidence, that the Unionists were getting into the Parades Commission and trying to intimidate them, actually saying to them that they were going to pull out of talks and that this would endanger the talks and would endanger the institutions and all of that. They have to explain all of that, because what we are about is moving ahead. We've had to take disappointing for many years in this area, disappointing decisions by the Parades Commission, and they have to be prepared to take disappointing decisions as well. But that's where we are. We will have to come back to this place. I would urge them to come back as soon as possible, because we still have to do the business that we were elected for. Last night in Tennant Street, I understand William Humphreys and Nelson McCausland joined in a protest outside a police station of a number of people who actually were not being arrested, but who went in voluntarily to talk to the police, and yet they protested that. I see all of that as the political leaders or political elected representatives actually weighing the situation up instead of trying to calm the situation down. But everybody needs to be calm. I would also say to people in the Nationalist and Republican community to be careful that there will be all sorts of provocation over the next short while. They have showed great dignity, especially in Mountainview, the Dales and in Ardoyne and that whole area, but throughout North Belfast and elsewhere, they should maintain that position and not let any of these provocations, which I expect will take place, to provoke them. Let's get through this period, let's get out the other end, and at some stage the unions will have to go back to talks anyway.